not admitted without parents or guardian. Under 17 not admitted without parents or guardian. Under 17 not admitted without parents or guardian.
That doesn't beat after all. I have such feelings for a dead robot while remembering the past and all its love.
Possible that Yoko Ono contributed vocals to that track we were just listening to.
Those weren't even ravens in that tree, were they? They were like wild turkeys or something.
Yeah, they're vultures.
Yeah.
They're turkey vultures or something. We'll get to that later when we actually see the movie. Spoiler alert, they're not really ravens. And the title really doesn't have anything to do with anything, I guess.
It's a good title, though. I have always wanted to see this, so it looks really good.
Oh, it's staggering. You know, I just saw it for the first time last week. I was like, we have to do this next on the show. Or like 2 weeks ago, I watched it. And it was just mind blowing. It's one of those things you're like, what the hell is this? And why is it happening? Could this be a real thing that actually happened in the world, or are they just lying to us?
I rented it once. It was on a double feature disc, right, with something else.
I don't remember.
Okay, it was on a double feature disc with something, and it was the second feature. And I remember I started watching it, and I thought, oh, this looks really good, but I have to take the DVD back to the store. It was at Movie Madness.
It's been on my radar for a long, long time, but I haven't actually seen it. So I had no idea what it was about. And then I watched it, and it's
foreign, right? Is it Spanish or something?
Yeah. Okay. It's Spanish. Same director as Voodoo Black Exorcist.
Oh. See, whenever I always thought it was just some regional movie. I was like, oh, Swamp of the Ravens is probably like The Witchmaker or something. Like it was, I just figured it was from Oklahoma or something.
You watched Demon Witch Child, didn't you? Wasn't it last week or the week before?
Yeah.
The same actor who plays the inspector in Demon Witch Child, Fernando Sanchez, I think. Uh-huh. He's in this one too.
Nice. I actually I thought he was like the most sort of human looking of everyone in that movie. Like, he was the least ridiculously dubbed, and he was like, yeah. Man, that movie.
It takes a lot to get used to it, doesn't it?
I think it's best in little sound bites and little clips on Instagram or something. I'm sitting down and actually watching it beginning to end. I was like, damn, like he did such a good job with those Blind Dead movies, right?
Oh, Armando de Osorio.
Yeah.
That's not the director, though.
Who directed Demon Witch Child?
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Yeah, that was Armando de Osorio.
Yeah, and it's like he did so good, and then other times it was just like...
Yeah, I mean, I have to say, I still don't like that movie, Demon Witch Child. I don't know. I was thinking about it. The reason I don't like it, it's ugly.
Mm-hmm.
It's really
ugly, and it's
film.
The sound design is all like up, it's really cheaply dubbed. Like they don't have any room tone. They don't have any background noises. It's just like actors screaming into microphones. And it's funny to hear the little girl tell the priest, like, you're either a goddamn queer or impotent. But like a whole movie of that is really exhausting.
Yeah, she was not a likable character ever in the film. And she was kind of off-putting. Reagan at least had a couple scenes where she was normal, and then you felt sorry for her because something was happening to her, and then
right.
It made
and
it
this
all
little
the more
girl's just like
terrifying.
kind of already a bitch before she gets possessed. She's like this loner kid. He's like, I'm painting in the park. She was in. I never saw Can You Kill a Child, but she's in that. Does she get killed in that?
I don't remember much about that movie. Who Can Kill a Child?
Who Can Kill a Child?
That was Island of the Damned in the United States.
Yeah.
And it was unsatisfying. I have to say, I do remember that. I thought it was a little unsatisfying, but it wasn't quite Children of the Corn.
Right.
It was a little different.
Is it better than the John Carpenter remake of Village of the Damned?
Yes. There are many things that are better than John Carpenter's remake of Village of the Damned.
They filmed that where I went to high school, and somebody I knew at the video store where I worked was also an animal trainer on the side, and she was training the animals for Village of the Damned because they needed parakeets that would drop dead on command.
Yeah. Some folks are saying they're having trouble with the Facebook feed, so I'm going to sign in and see if I can figure out what's going on. There we go. Well, hopefully, fingers crossed.
Well, I'm not paying attention. What'd they say? It was glitching?
Yeah, Jeff said that the Facebook commentary was glitching, so hopefully everyone can hear us.
Maybe that was just him criticizing our commentary.
Yeah.
You guys, the commentary is glitching.
Get with it, guys. So, I wanted to ask you, have you seen that movie Weapons?
No, and I actually don't know anything about it because I wanted to go into it blind. So I have friends who've seen it, and I just have not been reading it. I have no idea what it's about. And so I'm going to go see it like this week.
Yeah, I recommend that you go see it before you figure it, because eventually you're going to figure it out. Like you're going to see something and be like, But,
okay. All right. Yeah, it's been hell at work. So I haven't had time to go to the movies.
Yeah, I don't know. It was Mark wanted to go see it. He's always the one that drags me to movies. He's like, let's go see Weapons. Okay. So I just jumped right into it. I didn't really know anything about it. It's one of those things that like you don't see what's coming, but then when you do, you're kind of like, oh, okay, it's still good.
Is it like one of those endings that you kind of can guess it before, and then you're kind of hoping that they will outsmart you, and then they don't, and you're like, oh.
Well, yeah. I mean, it didn't surprise me. I might not have been able to guess the ending, but it didn't really surprise me after the revelation happened and you figured out what was going on. Nothing after that was really all that surprising. But it was still very good. I'm not saying don't see it. It's a good movie. It's one I'd watch again.
It's getting good reviews and it's been making a lot of money. Yeah. But I'm kind of out of it when it comes to new movies these days.
What's the last movie that you saw that was new in a theater? Do you remember?
Jeez. I went to see like the Oscar movies from last year. So I saw, what was it called? The one that won Best Picture, The Brutalist. I saw that in a theater.
Okay.
And since then I've gone to movie theaters, but I've seen like old, like the, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 1 and 2 played and, went to see that and stuff, but I never go to like multiplexes or anything.
Texas Chainsaw was just in theaters on Monday for the anniversary.
Yeah. So, you know what? I know we've talked about this before, but if Texas Chainsaw Massacre, my birthday's on August 19th, and if Texas Chainsaw Massacre takes place on the 18th, that means that the morning where she jumps in the truck, and leaves is my birthday morning.
See, that's why she had a happy ending.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, sort of.
Well, if you believe part 2, she lapsed into catatonia.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't call that a happy ending, but at least she lived, I guess.
Right.
That's the best we could say.
Well, I think sometimes horror movies overstate how mentally ill the people are going to be after the incidents of the film, like especially older movies where it's be like,
Yeah.
You're just supposed to presume that she's just going to be laughing hysterically to herself in an asylum for the rest of her life.
What, Lori at the end of Halloween?
Oh yeah, exactly. Just like crying and holding her head. Oh, here's this.
I did like that horrible Halloween Resurrection because it showed her as a mental patient in the hospital
with her doll. Remember, she has that like Raggedy Ann, and then she's stuffing pills in it or something.
Mm-hmm. No one ever thought of that in that mental institution.
I had high hopes for that because when I think we talked about this. It's like every time Halloween reboots itself, the follow up is like there's a huge backlash to the follow up.
Yeah.
It's like Halloween 4. They were like, hey, it's good. It's original. It feels like the first one. Halloween 5. No. And then same with H2O. And then like Resurrection came along and then everybody was up Halloween Kills ass for being not as good as the first one, so.
That you liked that one though, didn't you?
Yeah, because I remember one of my first theater going experiences was seeing Halloween 2 in 1981. And my mom and my aunt were like, oh, that was so violent. That was so gory. It was nothing like the first one. The first one was so classy. And all that was just violence. And I was like, yeah. And that's kind of how I felt watching Halloween Kills. I was like, oh, this is fun. It's just like Halloween 2. It's taking place all during the same night. And there's all this like, Michael Myers is actually really like horrible and evil and stabbing people in the face and stuff. So did you ever end up seeing it? I know you just were reading the synopses on like Wikipedia.
I just read the synopses after Halloween 2018. I was like, no, I'm Halloweened out. I really don't even give a shit anymore. Like just
Halloween Kills, I think is good if you like Halloween 2. Halloween Ends is like good if you wanted to see a remake of Christine, but with Michael Myers playing the car.
Okay, that sounds kind of interesting.
Yeah, I just think that that director was really good at sort of recreating everything about the first 3 movies, including like the way they came out and their, like because Halloween Ends was probably as divisive as Halloween 3. And Halloween Kills was cited for being violent and inelegant compared to the original, just like Halloween 2. So he was kind of recreating that, I think.
Someone thought Halloween 2018 was elegant.
Yeah, like it got good reviews. And I remember it was number 1 for 2 weeks in a row. And I took my friend Greg to see it. And he was 60 years old at the time. And he was so psyched. And he's like, it's not every day that like a movie starring people my age gets to be number 1 for 2 weeks. And I'm like, I guess, yeah, you're right. It's like Jamie Lee Curtis is like your generation. So I think like someday we'll be watching like, some, like Winona Ryder and playing some elderly woman living in a haunted house or something. And we'll be super psyched that our generation is being represented.
Why, that's a bright future that she has to look forward to.
Right.
So horror is always there. It's always there for you when you get older.
It's like Ruth Gordon said when she won her Oscar for Rosemary's Baby. She goes, I can't tell you how encouraging a thing like this is.
At the end of my life, I want to.
Well, no, she got to be in movies after that. She was in like, remember, A Scavenger Hunt?
Every Which Way But Loose.
Yes. Harold and Maude. That was a good one. A really good one. Like not a ironically good one.
Oh, that was after Rosemary's Baby. So yeah, she didn't get any Oscar for that. What about Whatever Happened to Aunt Alice?
That was good, but then what about? Oh, you love Look What Happened to Rosemary's Baby, right?
I do.
Yeah,
I genuinely I like it.
I don't remember it being a bad thing for her, although the Castavets were so adjacent to the main plot.
Yeah, she didn't have much to do in the sequel, actually, in Whatever Happened to Rosemary's Baby. She's just kind of like, or Look What's Happened to Rosemary's Baby. That's what it's called.
That was the first time I'd seen it was on the show when you showed it. And I just remember that I don't remember much about it, except that everybody was evil. Like he would make Donna Mills. Oh no, she's part of the cult. This other
She was
person, no, they're part
mean.
of the cult. And I do love when when Rosemary like takes refuge in this weird like storefront synagogue with all these pious Jews like
what is up with
that? And I'm like, where in the world would this be actually happening?
It worked though. It was holy enough that the devil couldn't get her in there.
I know, but it was like super like I'm like it was fun. It was a good one. I do think they kind of dropped the ball by not casting Tisa as in the Mia role, but it makes sense because Patty Duke was such a name at the time that they would think, oh, this could possibly be as good as the first one.
You just gave me the idea of Tisa Farrow being in that movie, and my mind is just blown. Who else? Oh, Tina Louise is in that.
Yes, and then isn't she part of the cult too? And like,
well, she's not when we see her, but somehow from one phone call, she picked up the phone, held it up to her ear, and then she was under the cult's control.
Oh God!
It was like satanic backwards messages in Stairway to Heaven.
And I remember a lot of disco. There was that era when like the occult and disco would be like sort of like, you remember in Cataclysm how they hang out at this like dance club and the devil's there with his like half-dressed girls who are just glowering at everybody. Like, so yeah, I definitely like satanic disco movies.
I like satanic disco.
Yeah.
My Life with the Thrill Kill Cult. They're going out on tour again, and it's going to be right around Halloween. I can't wait. They're playing Pittsburgh. Like November 1st or 2nd, they're going to be here. Whatever.
Oh, after Halloween, though.
Yeah.
It's kind of like how the Midnight Hour premiered on November 1st. It's like, oh.
It doesn't count. Yeah, it's not as fun.
Yeah.
They always do Halloween in Chicago if they can. And they're in Chicago on Halloween night. That's where they're from. So I don't know. I can watch it on YouTube.
Yeah. Wait, you're not going to go?
Well, I'm not going to go to Chicago. I'm going to go see him here in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, no, Chicago's a little far, but I only know them from their Crow song.
It's really not that representative of them either, which is ironic.
That's what I heard. Somebody was like, "Oh, that'd be like if your favorite Kiss song was Beth or something." And
yeah, that's true. No, they did other stuff that sounded like that, but like they had sort of like moved on from that when they did that. It shocked me when they did that. I mean, I was glad to see them in The Crow. They always sneak into movies. Paul Verhoeven always uses them. He's a big fan.
Oh, and they were actually in The Crow, right? Like performing.
Yeah. I meant their music. Like they do that stripper, that lap dance song in Showgirls, and a couple other things too in there. There's background Thrill Kill Cult in that.
Showgirls is playing in Austin, I think in September. No, October. I don't know. It's the 30th birthday of the release of Showgirls. And I think Showgirls came out in September. So I think it's in September, and it's playing in Austin. And Elizabeth Berkley is going to be there. And it's $125 for the VIP meet and greet, where you get to go backstage and pose for a picture with Elizabeth and tell her how much you love Showgirls after the movie. And
$125. I mean, that's a lot, but it's not ridiculous. It's not a grand,
I could cut some other expenses to get that, I'd be like, well, I have that old jacket. I don't need a new one.
I'm sure she's not rich and she doesn't do this all the time. So, she needs to make some coin.
I know this sounds, you would understand this, okay? Because this sounds really ridiculous, but yeah, people like to say a lot now these days. They're like, oh, this era that we live in is awful. And I was thinking about it and I was like, yeah, but on the other hand, Elizabeth Berkley is now not only talking about Showgirls, but she's hosting anniversary screenings and doing meets and greets. Like, is our era that awful? Because in a lot of ways, that's so much better than like the 90s when she'd never talk about it.
Now all we have to do is get Faye Dunaway on board with Mommy Dearest.
Oh, Faye Dunaway. She's an old, crazy lady.
So, like, you wouldn't go crazy to see her talk about Mommy Dearest? I would.
As late as, like, 2012, I think, she was still trying to get this movie off the ground that she had shot half of, and it was called Masterclass, and I think it was based on a play. And it was going to end up being kind of like the Marilyn behind Alive and Behind Bars situation where John Philip Law like ages 30 years between shots because she was just going to keep shooting the movie. Like, no, I look as good as I did 15 years ago, 20 years ago, whatever. And she asked one of my friends, like interviewed him for like a job as like the post-production coordinator or something. And at the interview, she got mad and she goes, "It's always about Faye fucking Dunaway." And he was like, "Okay, I'm going to leave now. I'm going to write a blog about this." So he went and like wrote this blog about his experience of working with her or something. And it was hilarious. I think he was eventually forced to take it down.
What more could you ask for to have a loony Faye Dunaway encounter?
I think I told you I saw her in person once. I was getting up. We were going to go work on the set in the morning. And about 6 a.m., I was going past her house and she was standing in the hallway of her front with the front door open. And she was standing in the hallway with a visor on and she was painting and she had this paint roller and she's just like considering the wall and looking at it. And then I went and did like a 12-hour day on this movie. And then when we were coming back, she's still standing in the same place, but like half the wall is done. And she's like still thinking about it. Like, now, how am I going to do this? And we're just like, you see what just, oh my God.
Her house was cute.
Mm-hmm. It was like a little bungalow.
Yeah. You remember when it was online when she sold it?
Yeah. But was there a controversy? Like she slapped the realtor or something? Or it was just that she was selling it?
Yeah, she had a rent controlled apartment in New York and she had been holding on to it for decades. And then finally they were like, "Look, you don't live here. You live in California." Her son was living there.
Right.
And that's not the same thing.
And then so she wanted to slap the HOA through the phone or whatever. That's right. Yeah. So when I saw her, she had a house in West Hollywood, like this little, I wouldn't call it a bungalow, but a lot of the houses in West Hollywood have like little yards and little fenced yards and stuff. And so it was like you could see into her yard. It was a 6-foot fence, but you know, if you were in a car that was a little high up enough, you could look over it and see what she was doing.
Of course she was always in there.
Yeah. Cause I mean, I don't know. It's like, she doesn't, what's the only thing that she's done? Remember that Gucci ad?
Because she did that show. Don't call us, we'll call you.
Oh no. That sitcom where she plays like the bossy lady, like she's on The Temp, like in that movie The Temp, like the bossy boss lady.
No, it was a reality show. It was like a modeling show, and she
has those actors, and she's like, "I didn't believe you in this scene. I didn't believe you," and they.
Yeah, that's what it was. I forget what it was called.
Okay, well, she was a couple of years ago. She was in that Gucci ad where it was like. She was this Beverly Hills matron whose daughter was never going to be as beautiful as her, but at least she could inherit some of her Gucci bags when she died. So she
How do you get rid of those Gucci bags? I mean, I guess you would just sell them somewhere.
Yeah, I'd sell them or give them. You know what they do is they give them to like charities and stuff. Like they'll take their Gucci bag and they'll give it to like the Cancer Society, and the Cancer Society will auction it off, and then they can just write that off their taxes.
Oh, okay.
I'm so glad I'll never be rich enough to have to worry about writing things off my, like as it is, I just pay tax. And like
I don't understand rich people money about doing
I know. Like that. When somebody who's rich says they'll be like, "I'm penniless because I didn't know, but my agent was stealing from me." Like that would be me, because they'll just be like, "Here you go, here's how much money you have," and I'm like, "Okay."
Yeah. I just said that the other night to Mark. I was like, I'm kind of glad I don't have a whole bunch of money, because then you'd always have to worry about somebody stealing it from you. Because unless you get involved in it and you're like always checking on it, and you would just live the rest of your life obsessed with your money and terrified that you would lose it.
I also am terrified of just losing any money. And when people are like, "Oh, I really took a bath on that stock deal and I lost 30 grand," and I'm like, I would quit.
Oh God, it's happened to me a lot lately, Mike. Let's not go there. Swamp of the Ravens, or the Swamp Ravens, if you look at it real fast. That's like a street gang movie, the Swamp Ravens.
Yeah, and they're like in Florida, of course.
With
What's
the vampire
happening.
It's another Euro vampire movie, kind of like it's like a Paul Naschy movie, except he's not in it.
Who put this out? Do you remember the distributor? Was it like Europix or something?
I'm not sure, because Swamp of the Ravens, I was erroneous. I kind of sold this on the last show as a movie that had only played in one theater.
Oh yeah, you did.
That was something else that I was thinking of. It was, although there were only a couple Swamp of the Ravens to find.
So now you're like, I bet one theater at a time.
Yes. There was one print. That's probably true. Sorry, I need a beverage right now.
What do you? I'm drinking Diet Dr. Pepper.
Oh, I'm teetotaling tonight, baby.
Yeah, I went hard last night. As you know, I have a corporate job, and I've turned into one of those like Friday 5 o'clock, like it's like the Flintstones. Like he pulls the bird, and the bird goes meh, and then I'm in a bar taking shots, starting at 5:01.
Well, I planned on teetotaling anyway because for a while I thought I was going to have to do the show by myself.
You should have gotten drunk. That would have been hilarious if you got.
No, I would not.
You'd be like Julie Brown on just like, hey, I don't know why nobody likes me.
Who cares about this fucking movie? Let's talk about me.
Oh my god, that'd be amazing.
No, it wouldn't. So I already planned it. I'll probably have a drink later. Like, now that everything's back to semi-normal here, and you haven't vanished once.
I know. I'm scared. It's gonna happen when I'm like right in the middle of something. All right.
So this was in Texas, of course. I'm a farm girl from Del Rio myself.
All right.
They only bite at night. I just saw that movie, The Vampire Happening, for the first time. Everything's on Tubi now. It's amazing.
Isn't it kind of crazy that movies that we could at one point in our lives only fantasize about what, like we'd see the ads and be like I told you how I was obsessed with Beast of the Yellow Knight because I was sure it was going to be the most amazing movie ever, and now you can just see it anywhere. And
I just watched it. I loved it.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd ever seen it.
So when I was a kid, there were two movies. It was Beast of the Yellow Knight and Barn of the Naked Dead. And I was like, those have got to be the most shocking, amazing, scary movies ever. And when I see them, my life will never be the same.
That's a movie Jennifer Ashley was in. I think that was the first movie she was ever in.
She doesn't speak, right? She's just that hippie girl who's like wandering around.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Thanks to everybody for hanging out with us, by the way. We got 36 viewers.
Total?
Fabulous. Total, yeah. So make sure you give us a like, too. Click like on the video, even if you don't like it, please.
Yeah, can you just lie? Can you fake it?
It's not really a commitment to say that, There's an alternate ad here. That's kind of cute.
Palmetto Pictures. And there we are again with those ravens, which are like clearly vultures or bats or something.
Details, baby, details. Here's one we've seen on the show before because we did.
Aunt Martha Does Dreadful Things was so. That was definitely. The next day I was like, did I dream that?
Yeah, that one is way out there, and I love it for that.
It reminded me of Private Parts, the Paul Bartel movie.
Yeah, that's such a good call. I love that it was sort of along the lines of The Gay Deceivers.
Yeah, that too. Because they're like living in an apartment, mostly just sort of arguing. And
yeah, they were supposed to. I mean, they weren't supposed to be gay, but one of them was supposed to be a woman named Aunt Martha.
Yeah.
Very.
Yeah, that movie was really. That was a little. It was fun. It was twisted, and you could tell that whoever made it was kind of an Andy Milligan type who had an agenda.
I binged on Andy Milligan movies this week too. I have a new favorite Andy Milligan movie.
What is it?
It used to be Blood. Now Torture Dungeon.
Oh, Torture Dungeon. Torture Dungeon
is fucking amazing. It's beyond my wildest dreams.
It's hilarious. It's like Strangers with Candy hilarious. And there's my favorite character is the woman who comes in to tell them that the marriage counselor is there. And she's like, she comes in, she goes, marriage counselor's here. And this is supposed to be like medieval England. It's customary to give comfort and aid to the bride.
Anyway, here's a really good double because they're both by the same director.
I wonder, would that be kind of? Did you go to see double features where it would be the same director? Like, did you ever end up going to see something like that? Was it exhausting? Were you like, these two movies feel exactly the same?
No, I mean I didn't see a lot of double features. You know, when they were doing this shit in theaters, I was just a little kid, so I had to beg people to take me to this stuff. No adult that I knew was going to sit through two movies. Like everybody wanted to leave after the first movie, and
Right.
especially the only person that ever did was my dad. He took me to see Inframan.
Mm-hmm.
He used to be super cool when I was little because he liked to watch scary movies. Then by the time I was in my teens, he didn't want to watch that shit anymore. I was like, what happened?
Oh no.
How did you change? Anyway, Voodoo Black Exorcist is another one. Both of these movies are wacko. And this would be a crazy night at the Melba, the Fair Park. And I guess those were the only two. Econo Hour.
That's the. So, how are they show? What would they show? They can't show both movies from 5:30 to 6. Oh, I see.
No, you just show up early and you get
Oh,
a
right.
lower admission fee. So then you have more time to go to the snack bar.
Yeah. Oh, I missed the drive-in.
I go early now. I never used to. I always used to get there at like 6:30, 7.
Yeah.
That's way too late.
I think I told you this, one of my favorite things about coming to the drive-in when I came to the drive-in is just when you're walking back to the bathrooms or to the snack bar and you can hear the movie echoing out of everyone's car and you like duck under the projector lamp. And
Oh yeah.
I know this, it sounds like you guys were always talking about how much you love the drive-in. I'm like, I get it. The drive-ins are great. And then when I went, I was like, this is magic. So
yeah. That's one of my favorite things about it. That's part of the immersive experience. And I'll tell you what, I've been to drive-in lineups where they don't do that, and it's not as fun. Retro drive-in screenings. You have to have period intermission reels running the whole time. There should be something on the screen at all times.
Yeah, because that was fun. I love the remember the hot dog jumping into the bun, and I remember it was right after Joe Flaherty died, and so they were putting up like memorial Joe Flaherty stuff on the screen, and there was the what was it? Who was the costumes of? I don't remember, but there was somebody like wandering around scaring people.
Oh yeah, I don't remember what the big costume was that time. They usually have someone dressed up doing cosplay.
Was it somebody from Dead of Night? No. Or Messiah of Evil?
No.
Yeah, that would have been cool.
I would have remembered that. They should have had someone in a Mariana Hill wig just wandering around in front of the screen.
Cosplaying a Nitra Ford, like carrying around their own like little mat to jump up and down on to make the door open.
In those cowboy boots, or she had some kind of interesting footwear, maybe not boots, but there's lots of fringe hanging off of her clothing.
That movie kind of reminded me a lot of Inferno in a lot of ways, because there would be these characters who you would think were complicit in the plot who would then just turn out to just be victims like everyone else.
Yeah. Those aren't her feet, by the way, in that scene, stepping on the mat. I think that's Gloria Katz.
Oh, yeah, because that was an insert, right? Mm-hmm. Shot that from later. Yeah.
They didn't shoot that with Anitra, and then they thought of it later, I guess.
I really miss those like kind of, I missed that old supermarket with that supermarket music playing, and I went to that Ralph's was right near my house in LA, but it had been completely remodeled. Like it was no fun. Like all the old California grocery stores that had, like that looked like that have all been kind of redone. So
anyway, we're looking at this ad for too long. There's still two more. This was the first one. Where was this? Let me risk crashing the entire show, and I will look.
Are you going on IMDb?
No, I am not.
Don't do it.
I will not go. I do not open any other pages. Everything will get all screwed up. No, I just want to see where this is from. The Delta Democrat Times, some southern location.
Delta Democrat. So that's probably like Mississippi or Alabama or Louisiana, somewhere on the Delta.
Somewhere thereabouts. Yeah. Anyway, that was the first date that I found for Swamp of the Ravens, and this was actually September 1975. So
now, when was this movie actually made? It's quite a few years before that, right? Isn't it from like 72 or something?
No, it's 74.
It looks so old, but I guess so did Spasmo, and that was 74. So,
well, they might have made it a couple of years earlier than that. It just didn't get released till 74 in Spain, and then
because the second feature is supposed to has a 1984 release date, and it's like, no, it's at least 5 years older than that.
oh, Death Wish Club,
yeah.
So here's a fabulous event, the Joy Drive-In Cinema.
And Toys Are Not for Children, is that Devil times 5?
No, that's Toys Are Not for Children. It's you're thinking of maybe Caution Children at Play
or something. Yeah, I saw that and I'm like, oh, that's definitely got to be one of those.
Toys Are Not for Children is an old black and white drama, sleazy drama released by Harry Novak.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's
Harry Novak. Everything he's one of those distributors where it's like he never, like some of these cheapo distributors would have luck with like they'd have at least one foreign movie or something that came close to getting some Oscar buzz or whatever. And Harry Novak's like, nope, like everything I show you is like sub porn.
Yeah. Well, he only picked up movies that he could steal from people, and I don't think he ever paid them anything for it.
Is Axe probably his biggest hit, I guess?
No, it was something else. Axe was a big one. I think they got a lot of play on it.
Not a Scream in the Streets or anything, right?
No. I hear screaming in the streets all the time.
Scream in the Streets is, when I first saw it, I couldn't believe it existed. And I wanted to kind of live in it too. I love that era of LA, like that dirty late 70s.
Anyway, it's worth saying, though, about Toys Are Not for Children playing with Father's Night, which is a retitle of something else. I don't remember what that was. But both movies apparently have some sort of daddy fixation going on. It's a theme. Because that's what Toys Are Not for Children is about.
Okay. And then have you seen Jacqueline Suzanne's Once Is Not Enough?
Oh, no, I never saw that. You know who likes that movie is Jeff Jordan. I think the book. He read the book. So
it was, what's her name got nominated for an Oscar in it? Brenda Vaccaro. So technically it was like the only Jacqueline Suzanne movie that was actually Oscar nominated. But it also was the comeback movie for Alexis Smith, that who played Mrs. Hallett in Little Girl Is Down the Lane. She had been out of the Hollywood spotlight for years, and then she's like, this was like her big thing. She plays this like lesbian millionaires who marries Kirk Douglas and makes him her beard.
Her beard for what? What does she want to do?
She's like, a woman in my position, nobody can know I'm a lesbian and I have a black girlfriend. So I need a man like you. And he's just like, okay, lady, like I'll be your stud. Cause he's like in love with his daughter. It's really gross.
I don't know. It's not a bad gig if you can get it, I guess, being somebody's beard, a rich person.
Yeah. But I don't think they get along. Cause at the end he's like, we've had too many fights. Let's get divorced. Spoiler alert.
We have not done Spasmo on the show, David. And that's a great choice.
Yeah, I would like to see you guys. You know what you should do is you should do Spasmo and Eye in the Labyrinth, and dare your audience to tell you what they were about.
I found an ad for Eye in the Labyrinth under its AKA Blood.
Oh,
in the UK.
Yeah. I like the existence of those movies because then that always gave me license to just take a mishmash of footage of whatever I thought would work and just piece it together with music and editing and be like, hey, that's a movie, right? That's a story. Eye in the Labyrinth did it. So I'm definitely grateful for that. And Spasmo.
Yeah, Sam would definitely be all about Spasmo. What I want is to get a hold of that footage that they shot, that George Romero shot for inserts for Spasmo.
You mean like you could, if you could premiere the George Romero Spasmo footage on your show, then you would get a Wikipedia page.
I dare you to put up a Wikipedia page for Drive-In Asylum. It'll get taken down. They'll be like, they're mean.
Yeah. They even want to take like the Wikipedia page for Boarding House down because they're like, nobody cares. And I'm like, you fascists.
There was I got really mad at them because like I linked to my blog a couple of movies that were really sort of obscure at the time, and there wasn't much out there, and I like put some kind of reference to it in there, and they were like, no, you can't do this. And I was like, okay, yeah, but no one else is talking about this movie, and this is a place where you could go and read something about the movie, because I did have information in there that I got from people that worked on it.
Yeah.
No, they weren't having it.
Whatever.
Well, somebody, it's not them. It's like one person, a moderator goes in there and sees it, and they're like, oh no.
Those mods are they're such like gatekeepy, like I think they who they remind me of is like I always picture them as like the comic book dude from The Simpsons. Like, no, actually, we don't have to make a page for you. Like,
someone mentioned Charles Bronson earlier in the chat, I think, or was it the other guy? Anyway,
the other guy.
Who's the other guy? No, the other actor, Chuck Norris.
Chuck Norris. Do you like? Have you guys shown Silent Rage?
We haven't.
Is it you? Like, you don't like Silent Rage, or Sam doesn't like Silent Rage?
I never said that.
Okay. Somebody I know doesn't like it. I blocked it out because I love Silent Rage so much that somebody I know doesn't like it. But it's like if you told me you hate cats or something. I'm like, I can't know that info if we're going to keep being friends.
I don't hate cats. I love cats. I loved it. It was much better than Cats. I'm going to see it again.
Wait, what was that? I forget.
It was that SNL sketch with the mad hypnotist at his Broadway show.
Right.
And everybody that left it said the same thing.
Yeah.
And they had critical quotes that were like, I loved it. It was much better than Cats. I'm going to see it again and again. Anyway, let's go to commercial break, and then afterwards, more DIADF.
Help, Miss Morrow. I'll trade you half a prune Danish for an honest opinion. Is it the dress, or is it my figure?
Honestly, it's your bra.
My bra?
Try this Playtex Cross Your Heart bra, but in the dressing room, please. Cross Your Heart crosses over, lifts and separates to help you cross over to a better figure.
Wow.
Of course. I improve your figure and you ruin mine. You try a Playtex Cross Your Heart bra and cross over to a better figure.
From the streets of LA to the stadiums of the world, Guns N' Roses. Guns N' Roses, Appetite for Destruction. Get it or regret it.
The Thompson Twins' new hit album. Thompson Twins' new album and double play cassette.
I don't believe in diets. I don't think they work. But I do believe in trying to eat wisely and eat good food. Now I have got a little sugar bowl full of Equal packets. And Equal just fits right into my lifestyle. You got the sugar, you got the pink stuff, and you got the Equal. It tastes good.
Equal has the great taste of NutraSweet and no saccharin.
So if you can cut down putting sugar on things, you're way ahead of the game.
But if we knew she could tell right from living dead, how could I have known the undead would feast on flesh and bone? Oh no, that would save so many lives. We thought we could beat death, but instead we unleashed the terror of the living dead. How could I have known the undead would feast on flesh and bone? No, oh no, oh no, they've come to eat my soul. The living dead, they've come to eat my soul. The living dead, death is not the end.
Hey, this is a drink for Swamp with the Ravens. Here's my favorite Raven down there on the floor. He speaks Spanish.
Hi, Raven. Hi, Raven. Baby Raven.
So, what's in this drink? It's a layered drink. Wow. It's got an ounce of Tito's, an ounce of Don Q Crystal, balls, blue balls, and Chambord. So here's...
It's going to be a purple drink.
A purple drink. Two-step drink. You put the first three in, the vodka, rum, blue curacao. You're going to put it in your shaker, and you're going to shake it up. Shake it tight. You want it to get nice and cold. Woo!
Don't make your son alcoholic. What's on your nose?
Okay. There you go. Nice and cold.
That's why I can't have nice things.
Move the camera down to here.
I didn't say we. I said why he can't have nice things.
Yes. So, at this point, you're going to take the Chambord and you're going to layer it on. You're going to put your bar spoon like this. And this allows you to slowly pour it. And in a perfect world, this will layer it on top.
Or dump it on the bottom. Kind of.
Yeah. It's kind of raveny. Though they're vultures in this movie, they're not even ravens. Who knows what they're talking about?
The messy raven.
Messy raven. It's a lot of alcohol, but you're going to need it. You're going to need it for this movie. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm saying it's great. Some movies need alcohol. This isn't. When you're a kid and your parents let you have cough syrup for the first time, it's like that. Anyways, enjoy the movie, enjoy the drink. See you in a bit.
Pazuzu.
Pazuzu.
You're not drinking either, are you?
No, I can't drink 2 days in a row. Like, I think yesterday I pissed away all my dopamine. Like, I need to manufacture some more before I can even feel drunk again.
Understood. So, I was going to ask you, like, do you have any comments on the Spanish horror film genre in general? Like, how do you feel their movies compare to other stuff that was going on at the time? Hammer films, you know.
I've always been kind of curious. Well, I've always liked Spanish horror movies. I loved The Blood Spattered Bride since I was a kid. And all I've ever heard whenever I was researching them, like when I was reading about them in like Phil Hardy's horror encyclopedia or the Psychotronic book or whatever, they would always have to make mention of the fact that it was being produced under the Franco government and how there was all these compromises and all these weird things. And I've always been, I've never really read up a lot about that. And I think it would be kind of like, I would love to actually kind of read a book kind of like, like a nice thick book about like, the Spanish horror genre. Do they have any, like anybody that like you're that British guy would write, that one that you like, that big bearish looking
Stephen Thrower?
Yeah, Stephen Thrower. Do they have any like Stephen Thrower style big fat books about like that era of Spanish horror?
There's still stuff in Stephen Thrower's book I haven't read in Nightmare USA, so I would cower at another big book that I'm probably never going to read before I'm dead. No, I can't. I mean, I know there are books out there, but I haven't read any off the top of my head about it. I don't really read books about movies.
Yeah.
Usually.
So, I mean, just to answer your question, I guess I would say I like I've always been a much bigger fan of the Italian, the giallos and those Italian movies. And while I've liked Spanish horror movies, I think I actually like Spanish like art films from later, like more mainstream ones better. Like Pedro Almodovar is probably one of my favorite directors. So I'm not, Spanish horror is okay.
I like them. I like the way they compare to Hammer films. The horror, I'm talking about the horror genre almost exclusively. I like the way they compare to the Hammer films. They seem to have been inspired by the classic Universal monster movies. You can tell that that's where they're rooted, and they already have experienced Hammer films because these were there was a huge glut of movies like in the early 70s that came out, like Spanish horror films. There were before and after, but there was a lot happening right then. There was a lot of those movies. I think Paul Naschy made 9 movies in 1973. I could just be pulling that out of thin air, but there was a lot. And Mondo de Osorio shot that Demon Witch Child movie in 8 days.
And it looked like it.
Yeah. That should tell you everything you need to know, right? But I do like the fact that they are just sort of like filtered through a different lens. This is like 3rd generation removed from the Universal classics, and they've already gotten the sex horror stuff.
Yeah.
They saw that in the Hammer films. You could tell that what they really wanted to do was to make something even more explicit. They wanted the nudity in the films, and they shot it as well for the international versions.
Yeah, I remember being kind of surprised by that because, when you're growing up, you're always like, okay, whatever they cut out of it was in the original version. And it would be weird to find out that Spain would produce movies that were actually more graphic abroad than they were at home.
So I think that's kind of cool about Spanish horror. And also that they were just Armando de Osorio made some crazy shit.
Yeah.
Like the Sea Serpent, his last movie, that was literally a stock monster in a fish tank and some sort of bad stop motion. But that was adventurous of him to do something like that.
What I noticed when we were watching people, first of all, I loved People Who Own the Dark. I thought that was actually I was prepared to think like, oh, this will be fun. This is funky. I love these old, Euro horrors. But I was like, no, actually, that was a really good movie. The house from House of Psychotic Women is featured in it.
Was it? I thought it looked familiar.
I even took screenshots and compared them because I'm like, is it? Yep, it is. So, yeah.
I swear to God, in Demon Witch Child, there's a location that I know I've seen in another movie, and I thought it was Let Sleeping Corpses Lie. Don't open the window.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one, too. I guess I do like Spanish horror.
Yeah. So I could have sworn that house, there was a location there, but I watched Sleeping Corpses again, and I didn't quite see it. So,
what's funny is
similar.
I was thinking, I was like, oh, I can't really call myself a completist, because I really haven't seen like a huge portion of Jess Franco's movies. And then I was thinking about it. I was like, that's not my fault. That's his fault. He made like 500 movies. Like nobody can see them all. Like I'm all beating myself up. Like if you really loved it, you'd watch it. I'm like, oh no, like nobody can, watch everything like that.
Now you could just binge it. You could binge a bunch of Franco stuff, and I highly recommend it.
Franco is so, oh my God. I mean, sometimes he can be, I love Venus and Furs, and I think Succubus is pretty good. But most of his stuff is just, I mean, even his mainstream stuff, like Count Dracula is kind of boring, and that like Jack the Ripper movie with Klaus Kinski is kind of boring, and I guess Deadly Sanctuary I liked, but it's also probably not really like that big of a crowd pleaser. I don't know, like he's really famous just for making as many movies as he did. Not that he was knocking it out of the park most of the time.
But de Osorio really tried to invent new things, like coming up with the Blind Dead series, which is, of course, his biggest hit. So he kept making movies about them. But he also tried a bunch of other stuff, too. Like, the Lorelai's grass. Somebody mentioned in the chat that was sort of, not quite what everybody was expecting.
You know what I love about the Blind Dead series is just the way that it's like none of the movies carry on the continuity. They don't have an overarching like story that goes through them. It's like each movie is just a standalone story featuring the Blind Dead.
Yeah.
And sometimes like certain things like the Blind Dead are never on a boat except for part 3. You know what I mean? Like there's just certain things about them that are like he'll just rewrite for each movie. And I think I remember reading somewhere that he did that on purpose because it was like he knew that his movies were going to get sold to whoever and get put out wherever, and that there wouldn't be any way for like audiences to track them and watch them like part 1, part 2, part 3. So he just made standalone movies. So if one didn't work, the next one would.
Genius. Absolute genius. And I always think fans try to connect the Ghost Galleon with the 4th Blind Dead movie, Night of the Seagulls, because the Blind Dead are on a beach at the beginning of because their boat burned up, so they would have washed up on the beach of this shore. So there is sort of a connection there, but
yeah, but the town in Night of the Seagulls has been have a history that dates back to like the Templars like coming, like they have to sacrifice people on the beach to keep them away and stuff. It's not just like, hey, last winter when that boat crashed, like they've been here ever since.
That's true.
So, yeah. I think my favorite is the second one where they're having like the fiesta, to like celebrate the killing of the Templars and the Templars attack it.
That's one that I have never seen more than maybe like 2 times. I really need to watch it again. It's been a long time since I watched the second one. It didn't get released in the States.
No, and the funny thing is that it's kind of a crowd pleaser. I think like the first one I think is really good, and it's very moody and it's very memorable. And part 2 is just kind of like, a greatest hits collection of like all the bits for the first one, that was like, and so it's one of those sequels where it's just kind of like, you love the first. Well, here it is again, but without any slow stuff. So
Demons 2.
Yeah, it is kind of like, well, except it doesn't. Yeah, I would say that. Yeah, kind of like Demons 2. I think the second Blind Dead movie diverges in tone from the first one more than Demons 2 diverged in tone from Demons. But when I was growing up, I hated Demons 2. I thought it was a cynical cash grab. I thought it was terrible. And like when I've grown up is like I really like it now.
I love
like
Demons
Sally
2.
being so crazy and like just the plot threads that they just drop. Like, never mind, Ozzy Argento's safe in the car. Anyway, moving on. And like never revisit that character again.
It was love at first sight with me and Demons 2. It had a better soundtrack too. It got less heavy metaloid and it got more like new wave because the Smiths were on it. Gene Loves Jezebel. There's another one too.
Panic in the Streets of London.
Yeah. You think Morrissey was tuned in to the tragedy of the demons?
I think he would have been one of them. He's kind of like Nicoletta Emmy from the first one, where you're like, he's too strange to not be complicit in this plot. Like, he's not like everybody else.
He could have been the guy with the metal face that Michaela Suave plays.
Right.
It could have been Morrissey.
Oh my God. Yeah, that was it. I like that. I love Demons. I thought Demons was really good. I think Demons 2, the reason why Demons 2 bugs me is because it was sort of like they were, as a kid, it was like I didn't want to see a movie where it's like they're just remaking the first one, but like cheaper and faster. But as an adult, I appreciate that because I just love like that little, like when the kid turns into a demon and so then suddenly it's like a little person in like a demon costume chasing her, and he goes like and falls on the ground, and then like this little gremlin jumps out of him and is chasing her around the apartment. Like, it's so good.
Yeah, it's just batshit crazy. And I didn't think that the first one was like all that different. I thought the same thing about the first one, that it was just like a cheap looking movie that was a cash grab.
Oh, no, Demons was class.
It was not class.
Demons was just one step down from an Argento movie. Like, Demons was like, it was like, Phenomena had been such a big hit that it was like, that's suddenly like Dario Argento was like, and his productions were like, you know, what was happening in Europe at the time and stuff. And so I love Demons. I thought Demons was very hip.
Well, I'm not saying it wasn't fucking amazing, but you know, it didn't compare to American films, I guess, to like the generic horror fan in the 80s.
Have you,
like
the Italian movies always wanted to be as, they could never figure out how to sound like a cool American movie. You know, like you'd have like Return of the Living Dead, and you'd have the Punks and Return of the Living Dead, and so like Lamberto Bob would be like, we could do that, we could do Punks too, and then it'll just be like these people driving around going like, yay, give me a can, ooh, snorting coke out of a can,
snorting,
you know, like,
cocaine from an actual Coke can,
yeah,
and listening to Billy Idol,
right? And so whenever like Italian movies would want to like have something hip or something, or try to recreate like, you know, the like they're like, they want it to be like Dawn of the Dead or something, to be like fun. I don't know. It's just, they were really always out of it. Like they really couldn't emulate American culture at all.
But that's what makes them interesting. It's, you know, through another lens. You see, is this really who we are?
I always just wanted to know. I always knew that they were imported and stuff when I would see them. But I would love to know what somebody who went to go see Demons, who thought that they were going to be watching like something like Return of the Living Dead, and then just seeing this weird, like you couldn't tell they were foreign because the people were clearly lip syncing English, but the voices were always completely disconnected, so you knew they were dubbed. But
yeah, the dubbing was distracting. Like you couldn't really take a dubbed movie seriously until you learn to appreciate it for otherwise.
Right.
But as a less mature film goer, that's the first thing you're like, oh, this is a stupid, it's like a Godzilla movie.
Well, and one thing too is that people always like would always figure, I always thought that those Italian movies, when we were watching them in English, that somebody in America had like dubbed them. Like I didn't know that they were creating these English language versions and then exporting them themselves. That's why they all have Carolyn de Fonseca in them and stuff. And so people would always say, oh, it's got awful cheap dubbing. We had to watch the original. And it's like, and then it wasn't until I was an adult that I found out there actually is no original. Like they're all dubbed. Even the Italian one sounds like it's the cheaply dubbed, you know.
I'm Olga. You're my tenant. They say you have to give me $50 a week.
You can't trust wolfhounds. They're crazy.
In advance.
Honey, even if you're queer or impotent, you're paying the price.
So I think we lost track of what we're watching tonight. People were asking in the chat, what movie are we watching tonight? It is not a Ruth Gordon film, Jeff. We're watching Swamp of the Ravens. And I forgot to mention, with what?
With the cop from Demon Witch Child.
Yes, the inspector, Fernando Sanchez. He was in Voodoo Black Exorcist. Sorry, I got those titles mixed up. So I had sort of like a Fernando Sanchez triple feature earlier in the week. It was fun.
Which one is he the best in, would you say?
You know, he's exactly the same in every one of them, so just take your pick. He never changes. He just, you know, they might have been made a couple years apart. Maybe he looks a little older in one of them. I'm not sure. But in general, he looks the same in every movie that he's in. And I forgot to mention that I didn't put a post on Groovy Doom. Both of tonight's movies are on Tubi. So you're not going to have any trouble. Just go to Tubi and search for Swamp of the Ravens. Go get it ready because we're going to wrap up pretty soon here. And unless, Mike, is there something else you want to say about Swamp of the Ravens?
No, it looks good. I always you keep featuring the opening credit in your videos and stuff and in the promos, and I remember that was the first thing about it that struck me. I was watching it and I was like, oh, I know I'm gonna like this, but I can't watch it now. I'm too busy or something. But I love that weird like day for night silhouette at the tree with the big vultures like flying around it.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
They're ravens, Mike. Ravens.
They're like wild turkeys or something. They're like
these
giant fat
turkey
birds.
Vultures.
Like,
you can see them too. I mean, they don't shy away from showing you the birds up close. So, you know, obviously they weren't supposed to be ravens in the original film.
It's just badly translated. It was actually supposed to be like, that they were like vultures or something.
Swamp of the Vultures sounds a little more accurate, but maybe not as classy as you said earlier, like Demons.
Yeah, Demons. Yeah, Demons was classy though. It had Billy Idol on the soundtrack
and Motley Crue.
Mm-hmm.
That ultimate satanic rock band, Motley Crue.
I just saw Demons in a theater actually, like 6 months ago. Jaretta was there, and the audience loved it. And it's funny because I always forget how funny Demons is. You know, it's just how awkward it is. Like when he's like, you know, she's like, those screams sound real. Come on, it's the Dolby system. And like the audience is just laughing. And the final part is even hilarious is when the woman turns into a demon at the end, and then Bob from House by the Cemetery grabs a gun and like kills her and just like knocks her into the road. And then the Jeep just goes off into the distance.
Yeah, it's even like halfway through the end credits.
Yeah.
If you walked out, you would never know what really happened.
Yeah. Yeah. And so Demons is fun. Like Demons is fun. I remember I saw The Beyond in a theater, and that was, I had grown up always hearing from like my horror fan friends that like The Beyond was like super serious and like super good. And so I always was so reverent to it that I was afraid to admit that parts of it are really campy and unintentionally funny. And then when I saw it in that theater, it was hilarious because people were laughing, and David Warbeck is hilarious. Like he's constantly like doing these sly, like, you know, Catriona McCall will be freaking out and stuff, and he'll just like look over at her and like, women, like and he's like, there's one part where he's loading a gun, but he takes the bullets and like drops them down the barrel from the front.
Very strange. He has a million shots in that gun too.
Mm-hmm.
It just keeps going and going at the end where the zombies start coming out.
Well, they had to graft on those zombies right into the fight because they was like Germany wouldn't buy the movie unless there were zombies in it or something.
Yeah, I don't know. I could never make sense of that movie. I didn't like that the first time I saw it either. I was just like totally. I mean, I'm still not. It's not my favorite movie, but I do appreciate it more now than I did then.
I like his weird movies that he would make in America. I love seeing like America through the eye. You know how how he tells this story, and it's like supposed to take place in like New Orleans, but it's like, does it though? Like.
All right.
New England movies are like amazing.
Well, what are they?
I like House by the Cemetery.
Yeah,
I think, and Dunwich, you know, in City of the Living Dead, you know, it's like supposed to be Dunwich, Massachusetts, and it's like, and everybody in the movie acts like a superstitious Sicilian. You know what I mean? Like it's like he's telling the story ostensibly about puritanical like American conservatives, but like everyone's acting like, you know, like, oh my God, the devil's here. There's a crack in the wall. Like, I don't know. It's just
the
like
way
Bob, the village idiot. Like everybody picks on Bob, and Bob is just like the whipping boy of the town. And then like he gets his, you know, it's just very sort of like rural Italian feeling.
Yeah, I remember that that VHS tape that had the reels out of order for House by the Cemetery because the real estate lady is gorily dispatched, and then one reel later she's like, I'm going over to the house. You're like, wait a minute.
Noticed.
No, it didn't get past anybody. That's just how you could rent it that way at your mom and pop video store.
Was that on like the first pressing or the first, I mean, whatever they called it with VHS tapes?
I guess.
Was it Vestron, I think, put it out?
Yeah, it was Vestron. Maybe, did they fix it, David? Did Vestron put out a corrected copy, or were they just like, oh, fuck it?
I mean, they wouldn't
like that.
The thing is that when they first put it out, they just put it out as a movie that they thought they could rent. There was no like Lucio Fulci audience that they were trying to please. Yeah. It's not like now where they'd be like, oh no, we realized on our Blu-ray that you can't hear this special effect. We'll do it for you all over again, you know?
All right. So go check out Swamp of the Ravens on Tubi. We'll be back afterwards. You know, Sam is going to show up on the show tonight, I think. Rumor has it that he'll be here.
I was advertising with him in it because I was like, even those episodes where like Suzanne Summers would call them on Three's Company, she was still in the credits.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, Sam was already on the show tonight. He did the drink segment. So there you go. All right. Enjoy Swamp of the Roses.